The Great Crusade, produced by the Radio and Television Apostolate in cooperation with the St. Louis Review, now presents Quiz a Catholic, a religious quiz program designed to lead men closer to God through a better understanding of things Catholic.
Hello, friends. This is Lee Cavanagh welcoming you once again to Quiz a Catholic, and we're sure happy to have you with us. Have you been one of the folks who's dropped us a line and suggested some subjects for the program? We hope you have, or if you haven't done it before, let's hear from you. We'll tell you more about that later on the program. Let's examine exactly how we play Quiz a Catholic now. Over here, I think you can see we have 5 categories of subjects we use on the program: objects, practices, events, personalities, and teachings. And we suggest that you folks at home send us in a subject or two in one or several of those categories. And then we have a panel here on Quiz a Catholic, and they can ask questions for 3 minutes in an attempt to identify your subject, if yours is used on the program. If they don't do it in 3 minutes, you receive a statue of Our Lady of Television. More about that later. Let's right now meet the members of our Quiz a Catholic panel for today. Here they are, 4 stalwart folks. And the first gentleman is Mr. Tom O'Toole, who's in the real estate business in the St. Louis area, and is also known in some certain circles as an authority on medieval Irish history. Is that correct, Mr. O'Toole?
In certain Irish circles, that's correct, yeah.
Tom, we're happy to see you once again here in Quiz a Catholic. Hope you have a lot of fun in the next half hour.
Nice to be
Sitting
here.
right next to Tom O'Toole is Mr. Ted Pepple, Vice President of Davis Advertising Company. Ted, we're really happy to welcome you to Quiz a Catholic today.
Thanks, Lee. It's a real pleasure to be here.
See, you live in Annunciation Parish in Webster Groves, Missouri, right?
That's right, Lee.
They tell me during the season you coach baseball out there.
It was a real struggle. Yeah, they're like the Cardinals, Lee. They finished second.
I understand you're pretty good at ducking thrown bats. Is that
Most
correct?
of the time. I did get clipped once this past year, but I came out almost unscarred.
Well, fine. You have, let's see, a wife, Dolores, and 4 little Pepples, I guess, are
Four little ones, that's right, Lee.
sitting in front of the television set. I
Yeah,
can
your
see 'em.
Hooper rating has gone up.
Well, Ted, we're happy to have you here and hope all the Pepples at home enjoy your visit here today, too. And right next to Ted, we have Miss Nellene Zeis, who's research manager with the Krupnick and Associates Advertising Agency. And Nellene, how are you feeling today on Quiz a Catholic? If I can get my teeth straightened out here.
Just fine, Lee. I think we'll have a lot of fun today.
All right, and right next to Nellene, we have Mr. Vic Staudt, who teaches English literature at St. Louis University. Vic, say something classical for us today, will you?
How'd you do?
Well, fine. We're happy to have you here, and we're most honored to welcome as our special priest guest on Quiz a Catholic today the pastor of St. Bernadette Parish in Lemay, Missouri, Father John A. Feckter. Father Feckter, welcome to Quiz a Catholic.
Thank you, Lee. I'm happy to be here and hope I can help along here with this Quiz a Catholic panel discussion.
Well, good, Father. Shall we go right to work on the panel?
All right with me.
All right. This first subject was sent to us by Miss Madonna Fuchs of 4 Nancy Place in Baldwin, Missouri, and it's an object.
This Old Testament object is the multicolored coat given to Joseph by his father, Jacob. Jealous because of the favoritism shown, the brothers of Joseph attempted to slay him and sent his blood-stained coat back to their father, Jacob.
All right, Tom O'Toole, let's start with you on this object, sir.
Okay, Lee, is this a specific object?
Yes, it is.
Can we locate this object geographically?
Geographically, yes.
Is it in the United States?
No. Ted Pepple?
Is it in the Eastern Hemisphere?
Yes, we would identify it with the Eastern Hemisphere.
Did this object exist, Lee, at the time of biblical times?
In biblical times, yes.
New Testament?
No, afraid not. Nellene?
This is an Old Testament object.
Right.
Do we connect this with one of the leading personalities of the Old Testament, perhaps?
Well, yes. I guess you'd consider the person one
Do
of
we
the leading...
connect it in any way with Moses?
No. Not quite that leading.
Does this object appear in the Bible after Genesis?
No.
Is this object architectural?
Not architectural, no.
Is it symbolic?
No, not really, is it,
Is
Father?
this perhaps a living object, or rather non-manufactured?
We'd have to say no to that.
Manufactured.
Mm-hmm.
Do we connect it with Adam and Eve and any of their immediate relatives? Their
No.
family?
Nope.
How about Noah?
Not connected with Noah.
Lot and his family?
No.
Cain and Abel?
No.
Would this be manufactured but animal?
I don't think so, would it, Father? No. Mm-mm.
Is it wearing apparel of any kind?
Yes.
And would it be perhaps a coat of many colors?
You've got it. And who's it connected with?
Joseph.
Oh, you are so absolutely correct. The subject Miss Fuse sent in, and you identified within the 3 minutes, was Joseph's coat of many colors.
That coat of many colors was really well thought out there, Vic. And when we talk about this coat of many colors, we're reminded of Joseph, who was, of course, the 11th son of Jacob. And this coat was given to him by his father in recognition of some wonderful talents which God seemed to endow him with. He could prophesy, he could interpret dreams, and the rest of his brothers were rather envious about it. Eventually they saw fit to sell him in slavery, and he eventually found his way into Egypt, where he became quite an important figure in the dynasty of the Egyptian kingdom. And later on, in the course of some of these very things which his brothers envied him about, foretelling of, various catastrophes and interpreting dreams, this great system of the famines took place, and before they knew it, why, his brothers had to go to him and seek recourse, and the family was once again reunited. And, the whole story in back of it, you might say, is that from envy of his brothers and recognizing the various gifts that God had given Joseph, they, in turn, had to be submissive and humble and recognize these things, and we, in turn, ought to do the same thing. Some of us have gifts for leadership, others have gifts to just go along with it, but all working out toward our salvation.
Well, fine, Father Feckter. Thanks very much. Let's see, our panel's batting 1,000 right now. Let's see what they do on this second subject of the day, sent in by Miss Jean Cook of 1302 North 31st Street in East St. Louis, Illinois. This is a personality.
St. Genesius is a martyr of the 4th century who was honored as the patron saint of theatrical performers and musicians. According to tradition, Genesius ridiculed the sacrament of baptism in a play before the Emperor Diocletian. Later, he was given the grace to understand and became a Christian. He subsequently suffered a martyr's death.
All right, 3 minutes to go with this personality. Ted, can we start with you, sir?
Lee, is this a specific personality?
Yes.
Living?
No. Nellene?
This is a deceased person. Would it be a man?
Yes.
Would there be any biblical mention of this person?
No, afraid not. Fixed out?
Well, chronologically, would he have flourished prior to 1000 A.D.?
You are right, sir.
And presumably he was a Catholic?
Yes.
Was he canonized?
Yes.
He's a saint of some description. Geographically, he inhabited Europe, I dare say.
You dare say right, sir.
And if we could identify, let's see, in Europe now.
How's that again?
Europe's got a number of countries in it. Let me see. How about the southern Europe in the general area of the Romance languages?
Yes, I'll buy that.
And Italy?
Italy is right.
Italy is right. A saint in Italy. I know who that is, but I'm not going to tell. I passed to Tom O'Toole.
I'm going to give it right back to you, I think, Vic. Prior to 1000 A.D.
That's right, Tom. 2 minutes to go.
Prior to, I don't know if this is going to help me, 700 A.D.
Yes.
I'm thinking of St. Augustine.
No, that's not right. Let's see, we
exactly
start with
right.
Ted for open for general questioning now.
Would this be a doctor of the church?
A doctor, no.
Is this a martyr?
A martyr, yes.
And was he martyred in Rome in the Colosseum?
Yes, he was.
And was he eaten by lions?
Well, this I don't really know, Vic.
Well, I don't know anybody that was, but...
St. Stephen?
Not St. Stephen.
We
no.
know this person by name.
Yes, I think you should or would.
Was he an apostle?
Not an apostle.
Was he a pope?
Not a pope.
Was he originally a Roman soldier?
Not a soldier, huh, Father?
There's definitely information on it.
No, we don't...
Well, I might have more information than you people do.
Is he a patron of youth?
No, not a patron of youth.
Oh, those early martyrs. Is he a patron of anything particular?
He sure is. 1 minute to go.
Is he a patron of some illness, perhaps?
No.
Of a special group or occupation?
Yes.
Oh.
Who would that be?
Oh.
This group of adults?
Wouldn't have to be adults.
Was he a clergyman?
No.
Oh.
Who is
Let's
this?
see. St. George, would it be?
Not St. George. About half a minute to go, and then Miss Cook will have a statue of Our Lady.
Is there a parish church, say, in the city of St. Louis with it?
I don't think so. No, there isn't. Is there, Father?
No, Lee.
No.
Does this name begin with the letter in the last half of the alphabet?
Well, this is a sneaky way to get at it, but no. We have what, about 15
Was
seconds?
this in the very early church, Lee, in the time of the Roman persecution?
Yes.
We blew this.
I'm afraid our time is up.
Too bad.
And Miss Jean Cook of East St. Louis, Illinois, gets a statue of Our Lady of Television for the subject St. Genesius, the patron of actors.
Oh, I had that on the tip of my tongue.
I thought you
Should have known that one.
had.
Vic should have got that, the actor.
This St. Genesius, the patron of actors, was really a Roman comedian, Lee. And you panelists, he, of course, had one great fault at the time. He was trying to put on a comedy farce in reference to the sacrament of baptism. And as a result of it, and during it, the grace of God seemed to strike him, and he was converted to Christianity. Later on, he became a martyr for his faith under the Roman Emperor Diocletian. And in the consequence of this particular patronage of his for the actors, you know, all of us ought to remember that the world of theatrics has a lot of temptations to it, and we ought to beseech St. Genesius on behalf of these actors and actresses who have to, of course, make their living and uphold the finest traditions of this profession, that God give them the grace to be strong in all the trials and troubles that he sends them, and also that we, in our turn, are remembering them kindly in our thoughts.
Very good advice, Father Feckter. Let's move along now with subject number 3, which was sent to us by Mrs. Doris Manhall of 609 Bellsworth Drive in Lee May, Missouri. And this is one that we're not going to show you on your television screens at home. See if you can outguess or outwit our panel here in 3 minutes. This is a practice, and suppose we start with Nellene Zeis.
Is this a practice in common use today, Lee?
Oh, yes. Mm-hmm.
Is this something I might have practiced within the last year?
You might have. I don't think you did, but you might have.
Do we connect it with any particular time of the year?
No, couldn't tie it down that way. Vic Staudt?
This practice essentially devotional.
Yes. Uh-huh.
And is it more likely to be practiced by clergy than laity?
Yes.
And would it be practiced in church normally?
No. Tom O'Toole?
Is this practice is it an obligation for the clergy?
Obligation? We couldn't classify it that way, no. Ted Pepple?
Is there any ceremony involved with this practice?
Yes.
Is it seasonal in nature? I mean, does it occur at any particular time?
Can't tie it down that way, Ted, so we're open for general questions.
Does this normally occur out of doors?
No.
Are there any prayers connected with this, Lee?
Yes, there are some.
Is there an object connected with this?
Yes.
Is this a manufactured object?
Yes.
Wood or wood product?
It could be, often
Is it
is.
a building?
Yes.
Is it the practice of blessing a building when it's first occupied? Or?
That's part of the
Would
practice.
it be dedicating a home to the Sacred Heart? Or a blessing of a home?
That's it. You've got it. It's the blessing of a new home, and they got it under the time limit, didn't they, Father?
They certainly did, Lee. Speaking of the blessing of a new home, you know, we're often reminded of, when people are thinking of home in various capacities, the ideas go toward the decorations and the fireplace, the picture window, and incidentally, of course, the payment of that home. But our thoughts get all wrapped up with all the material things about a home. And when we speak of this blessing of a house, it's that wonderful thought of dedicating our homes to Almighty God. After all, a blessing is, of course, invoking divine favor of God and assistance of God. And what could be more wonderful and more appropriate these particular times when there's so much stress brought up on the background of a home? And how can we get sanctity in the home if more of us don't just go ahead and resort to these little wonderful things which our church offers for us to bless these homes? And it's not only restricted to Catholics. Anybody can call any priest, ask him anytime to come and bless their home, and I know he'd be glad to.
Fine, Father Feckter. I'd like to take just a moment out here now to mention to you folks watching Quiz a Catholic just how you can take part in the program. You know, we have those 5 categories of subjects we mentioned: objects, practices, events, personalities, and teachings. Select a subject in one of those 5 categories and send it to Quiz a Catholic in care of the station you're watching right now. And if your subject is selected for use in the program and our panel does not identify it in 3 minutes, then you receive a statue of Our Lady of Television, the patroness of the Catholic Radio and Television Apostolate. So pick out some subjects, make them rough, give this panel some trouble here, and send them to Quiz a Catholic in care of the station that you're watching right now. Okay, here's subject number 4 on Quiz a Catholic for today, which was sent to us by Gertrude Moyle of 4048 Hartford Street in St. Louis. It's a teaching.
The seventh commandment obliges us not to steal. It also imposes an obligation of restoring lost or stolen goods to the rightful owner. This is the obligation of restitution.
Vic Staudt, how about you starting off this teaching?
Yes, now this teaching, does it have any biblical origin of any kind?
Yes.
And would that biblical origin be identifiable by the words of Christ, for instance?
Not specifically, Father, or are there any
I wouldn't say definitely that.
Not in so many words, Vic. We can't tie it down that way. Tom O'Toole?
Would you say it was in the Ten Commandments?
Yes.
Does it invoke an obligation on my part?
Yes.
Is it regarding the first 5 commandments?
No, it is not, Tom. Ted Pepple?
My mathematics makes me arrive at the fact that it's in regard to the last 5
Oh,
commandments.
you are so right, sir.
Would it be in regard to the 6th commandment?
No, would not, Ted. Nellene?
Well, I'll try the 8th. Does it have anything to do with lying or the necessity to speak the truth?
I'm afraid not, ma'am. That kind of narrows down a few commandments left there. We're open for general questioning.
Anything to do with stealing or anything?
Yes, it does have to do with that.
Have anything to do with an obligation to make restitution?
You've got it, man. That's it. Gertrude Moyle, 4048 Hartford Street, sent us the subject, restitution. Right, Father?
Right, Lee. He certainly didn't take long to figure that one out.
You make a joke of this, Vic, don't you?
We hope not. Restitution, of course, based upon the 7th commandment, thou shalt not steal. Too many of us regard the 7th commandment as just a positive thing of you have certain things to do and you may do nothing else. Now, in reference to stealing, we associate with stealing the idea of embezzling or some prodigious theft of some sort, or we read the newspaper and hear someone caught hold of this or that. Our sympathies go to them. We wonder why. I wonder how many of us realize the restitution that's necessary to restore ill-gotten gains when we think of other avenues. Look at the time sometimes that a lot of us use. We waste it. We don't use it. We waste it. Think of taking advantage of other people as far as their ideas and notions, and we pass them off as our own. These things can all mean, really, some ill-gotten gains that we're putting to our own use. So there's restitution for all of us in every phase, not only thou shalt not steal, but after we have stolen thoughts, ideas, words, and maybe time, valuable time, we have to restore that. Sure as anything to get the book of God in order again.
All right, Father. Here's subject number 5. They only missed 1 out of 4 so far today. And this one was sent to us by Barbara Ann Flouter of 3828 Wyoming Street in St. Louis. It's an event.
With the invention of movable type came the printing of the Gutenberg Bible in 1456. It was the first book ever printed and has been the most frequently printed book during these 501 years.
Well, Ted Pepple is our special guest on Quiz the Catholic today. Can we start with you on this event?
Is this a particular event, Lee?
Yes, it is.
Can we locate this chronologically?
Yes.
Biblical times, perhaps?
Not biblical, Ted. Nellene?
It's been since biblical times?
Right.
Was it perhaps after 1500?
No. Vic Staudt?
Does this event involve a number of people, that is more than 2 dozen?
Well, not people that we could identify very well. No, we'd have to say no to that and move on to Tom O'Toole.
After the year 1000 A.D.
Yes.
Can we locate this event geographically?
Yes.
In Europe?
Yes.
Event. Is it having to do with the founding of a religious order?
No. That's your open for general questioning.
Do we
Right.
connect?
Is there a particular person connected with this event?
Yes.
Is he a saint?
No. 2 minutes to go.
Would it be a pope?
No.
Would he be a leader of a governmental leader of some sort?
No. Mm-mm.
Would we connect it with France?
No.
Is it connected with a martyrdom in any way?
Nope.
His country, Italy.
No.
Spain?
No.
France?
No.
England.
Germany?
Ireland?
Well, you got them pretty well covered. Germany, yes.
Germany. From after 1,000. 1,000 to 1,500. You said.
Right.
Was it be connected with St. Boniface in any way?
Nope.
Was this a member of the religious?
No.
This is a man?
Yes.
Oh.
German.
How's our time?
And he's not a saint. Is his cause proposed for canonization?
No.
Is he a religious man?
Do we know him for something he did?
Yes. Know him for something he did.
Is he a good man?
Good man? Yes.
Was he a teacher?
1 minute to
Or
go.
an author?
A teacher, an author? No.
Was he a printer?
Yes.
Gutenberg?
Yes. What's the event?
The invention of the press, printing press?
Very good. First Bible.
First
The
Bible.
first printing of the Bible is absolutely right, with about 45 seconds still left to go on that one.
They were close to it several times, and they did hit it. This first printing of the Bible in the year somewhere around 1450 took almost 6 years to get together. And, of course, the Bible, fortunately, was chosen, I presume, in foreseeing that it was going to be, for all time, the bestseller that we've ever had as far as books are concerned. When we talk about that Bible, of course, it's the Word of God. We can't help but think every home does have a Bible, should have a Bible. And I'm positive that it is used, at least I trust. There are some homes, however, use that Bible more or less as a keepsake, and it's looked at or handled perhaps once a week or so when some dusting's done, and the true worth of that Bible is forgotten about. We have to all try to remember that the value of that printing of that first Bible, coming all the way down through the ages, in the covers, the magnificence of God's teaching and the comfort that we can get. We have to read that Bible and read it every day, make it part of our daily life.
All right, Father. Subject number 6 now. We got from Margaret Ottman of 10,400 Seton Drive in Bissell Hills, Missouri. And this is a personality.
This personality is Pope Adrian IV, who lived during the 12th century. He is the only native of England ever to be elected pontiff.
All right, Tom O'Toole. How about you, sir?
Is one personally?
Yes.
Is it a man?
Yes.
Is he dead?
Yes.
Did he die prior to 1500 A.D.?
Yes.
Prior to 1000?
No.
All righty.
Ted Pepple?
Did he exist in biblical times?
No. Nellene?
Can we locate him geographically, Lee?
Yes.
In Europe?
Yes.
Is he a saint?
No. Big Staudt?
I don't know anybody but saints.
You lucky man.
In locating geographically now, would it be in the eastern half of Europe?
In the eastern half of Europe? No. Mm-mm.
I'm glad I
We're open for general questioning.
We connect him with England, for chance.
There is a connection.
Would it be King Richard?
No. There is a connection with him.
This is a man, right?
Yes.
Was he a king of England?
No. 2 minutes to go.
Is he an author?
No, we wouldn't know him for that.
Was he a clergyman?
Yes.
Not a saint. Was he a...
Would be Friar Tuck.
No.
It's possible.
Sure. Would it connect him with any of the Crusades?
No.
Was he royalty?
No, not royalty.
Clergy.
Clergyman. Was he an advisor to some royalty?
No, we wouldn't know him for that.
Is he...
Was he hierarchy?
Yes.
Archbishop of Canterbury, perhaps?
Nope.
Oh.
Was he an Englishman? I mean, as opposed to being associated with England.
Well, you mean by what? By birth? Or
Well, I mean, he actually lived in England.
partially, yes. I mean...
Is he, you said prior to 1500?
Yeah,
Yes, prior to 1500, 1 minute to go.
Did we connect him with Ireland in any way?
Nope.
Did he send missionaries to Germany, perchance?
Not that we know of, huh, Father?
Was he a missionary?
No.
Not saying it.
Nope.
Is he an abbot?
At one time.
An abbot of Malmesbury.
Is
Nope.
there a pilgrimage connected with him in any way?
No, Father, is
Some
there?
kind of a shrine?
Nope.
Is he a patron of something?
Nope.
Is he involved in a particular event in England?
In England, no.
Is
Half a
he
minute to go.
involved in an event somewhere else?
You're getting us out of here.
Well, yes, he was
Did
involved.
he send anybody to America?
Nope, not that we know of.
Have anything to do with geography or the explorations?
Nope. We're
Was he
going to give away a statue pretty quick. What was that?
Was he a scientist?
Nope.
Holy smokes.
How's our time?
Did we ever hear of the boy?
I think you should have, perhaps. 10 seconds to
Connected
go.
with Columbus in any way?
Nope.
Was it the bishop that expelled any of the royalty in England?
No. Your time is up, and Margaret Ottman of Bissell Hills, Missouri, gets a statue of Our Lady of Television for beating the panel with the subject Pope Adrian IV. Right, Father?
Oh,
Right.
those personalities are killing us
Well,
today.
the personality connected with Pope Adrian IV, I think, is something worth our while for the world at large to consider. Pope Adrian was the first and only English pope. And he was born in an insignificant little town in England, and from there he went over to visit an uncle in France, and who was in a monastery. He later on joined that monastery, became an abbot, and his talents were so great he was called to Rome, was made a cardinal, and eventually became pope. Now, this just exemplifies the fact that a lot of people think this idea of election of a pope is always restricted to, say, Italian, because there have been so many Italian popes. We've had Italian popes, we've had German popes, we've had French popes, we've had Spanish popes, we've had Portuguese popes, and here's an instance of an English pope, Adrian IV. Could be someday maybe America might have a pope.
Well, Father, I think we have time on Quiz of Catholic today for one fast quickie, which was sent to us by Ann Scott. Let's see, don't have the address here. But this is a personality. Who wants to take a stab at it real fast?
One personally?
Yes.
Living?
Biblical?
Living, no. Biblical, no.
Saint?
Yes.
Man?
Yes.
He found an order?
No, didn't found an order.
Was he a
Did
member of a
Was he
religious
religious?
order?
Yes.
Let's see now.
Yes.
Did
mem-
found an order. Did found an order, yes.
European?
European.
French?
Yes.
St. John Baptist to the south?
No.
St. Vincent de Paul?
St. Vincent de Paul is right. You got that one. We got time. How much time we got? About a minute or so? Let's take about 30 seconds here on another quickie which was sent to us by Mr. James Vopel of 963rd Street, St. Louis. And this is an object. Who wants to try it?
Specific?
No.
Group?
No.
Some of them exist today?
Yes.
Found in church?
Yes.
Would it be visible during the
Yes.
Holy Sacrifice? Is it a wearing apparel?
Yes.
Associated with the clergy?
Yes.
Is it something that the priest wears?
Yes.
Visible? Vestments, sometimes.
Is it a maniple?
Wait,
or
wait, one at a
stole?
time.
Visible?
Partially. What was yours, Tom?
Vestments?
The
The vestments is right. The priest's vestments used at Mass. Well, gee, I wish we had more time, but they're knocking off those quickies awfully fast there, Father.
Very sharp.
We just about have time now to say to you, Father John Feckter, how much we enjoyed having you on Quiz of Catholic for today. Did you have an enjoyable half hour?
I sure did, Lee. Thank you very much.
I hope you come
Pleasure
back.
to be here.
Hope you come back and see us again sometime. And to the members of our panel, pretty good going there. They, used about 8 subjects and gave away 2 statues today. But thanks very much to you, Tom O'Toole.
Okay, Lee.
Ted Pepple, it was a
Thanks.
very special pleasure having you on the program for the first time.
Thanks very much, Lee.
And Nellene Zeis
Thank you, Lee.
and Vic Staudt. And to all you folks at home, we'd love to have you take part in Quiz of Catholic, too. Remember, all you have to do is bring up some rough subjects for these folks on the panel. Send them to Quiz a Catholic in care of the station you're watching right now. This is Lee Cavanagh thanking you for joining us today on Quiz a Catholic.
Quiz the Catholic has been produced by the Catholic Radio and Television Apostolate of St. Louis. The Great Crusade is brought to you each Sunday through the cooperation of the St. Louis Review and by station KWK-TV. Production staff of the Great Crusade includes Father Francis J. Matthews, Catherine Walsh, and Jim Hennessy. We invite you to join us next week when the Great Crusade will again present Quiz a Catholic.